What up, y'all? You know who it is, your boy Kiss. Right now, you checking out the 3-point conversion.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? It's your man, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? We are back inside the 3-point conversion sports lounge. And I am your host, Mr. Controversy. And look who I got to my right. I got my guy, the one and only G. What up, G?
Yo.
See, oh man. I almost gonna cry just hearing that. How you been, man?
I've been all right, man. I hadn't got up with you for a minute, but yeah, it's good to be on here. I don't know if there are any new fans or anything that may not remember that I worked with y'all before, so it's good as an old relic to come back and, and be on the show.
Yeah, it's a lot. We got a few people that probably don't remember that who know who you are, who wasn't listening, which is good. It's always good to have new listeners, whatever. But yeah, man, it's good to hear that voice, man. I'll hurry up, but I still never forget the first time you came in because we lost. Who was the guy that we lost? I cannot remember his name, but the dude that had a fake dreads. He had locks.
Sean.
Yeah, it had locks, and then he cut it off. Like, why you cut it off? Like, yeah, I got tired of it. Like, man, and 2 weeks later, he went back with the same dreads. I'm like,
he put him. Yeah, he kept them. Like, he put him back.
like, anyway, but I still never get a time. You were just quiet and just like, I'm good or whatever. You just like just real quiet. So we was like, man, the intellectual. We were like, man, what? Why he not? He didn't talk, man. I don't know. And then we started talking about like Barry Sanders and somebody, and you just hit us with a stat that we never heard of. And we were looking like, okay, this might work. But anyway, man, it's definitely good to have you on, man. Gee, it's been a lot going on, man. Sorry, I'm trying to get all this pushed out, but it's been a lot going on, man, in Atlanta, man. That's why it's called it is hot in Atlanta right now, and we don't mean the weather. Man, it's probably a good time to be in Atlanta. You're probably frustrated, or whatever, but the good thing is change is coming. I mean, and if that's what you wanted, you about to get it. There's been a lot of people complaining about this, like, but and it seems like they're about to get it. And we got a good show, man. It's a jam-packed show because there's so much to talk about. Of course, we have to talk about what's going on, Rick. We got to talk about the Falcons. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing right now is what's going on with the Falcons. Man, everybody wanted change. It finally happened. It was weird because Rob won 4 games in a row and everything. We'll get into all that, but it happened Sunday night, and now everybody's wondering what's going to happen. Who can we get? How the team looks good, or is it attractive teams? We're going to get into all of that. Also, man, we got to talk about Trae Young. That news came up today too with Trae Young. It's been surfacing as far as he's ready to leave, or he's working with the Hawks. He's open to a trade. You know, he's not against the trade. Now all of a sudden he's open to a trade. And then today it came out he wants to talk to the Washington. His priority choice is Washington Wizards, which is weird to me, but we'll get into that. Yeah, I still can't believe that one, but whatever. But we'll talk about that. We got the college football playoffs. Been good. Definitely want to hear G's opinion on that. But the playoffs been great to me, except for the first round. But other than that, it's been good and unpredictable. So we got to talk about that, and then we got to talk about the NFL playoffs. Is here. I'm nervous. I haven't been in this situation or this position in a long time, so I'm nervous. But I'm not even gonna lie. But like I said, it's some good stuff going on, man. With the playoffs, it's different because you got different teams in there. The team that we want to see in the Kansas City Chiefs are not in there. Thank God. You get tired of covering them. You go to Super Bowl all the time, so I'm glad about that. Sorry about that, but I'm just like I said, I'm just happy. Like I said, we get to see a new Super Bowl champ besides Eagles, you know, if the Eagles are coming back. So anyway, and then we got
Hey, what's up, Mike?
what's up, Mike? We got quick hits. Stop it. So let your friends and family know they can listen to the show live on the 3 Point Conversion Facebook page or on the 3 Point Conversion YouTube channel. We're live. And we are back. Again, we got G, and it's time to get to these quick hits. Let's get it. First off, G, Todd Bowles came out and said he texted the news channel, a news team, I guess, or the news. I forgot which news it was in Tampa, but either or, he texted them, I'm going to be back next year. Sure hope he's right. I hope he's not just guessing, but he said he's going to be back next year, but he said there will be some changes with the staff, the coaching staff. I'm gonna ask you first, G. How do you feel about that? Do you think he deserves to come back after what happened this year? I mean, it was a lot of injuries, and the fact that they still was able to do what they did, but and at the same time, I mean, he hasn't been that great the last few years. So I want your opinion on that.
I think the injuries are taken into account. They started off well. You know, it looked like Baker Mayfield was in the MVP conversation, and up to late October. But they had some injuries, especially in the receiving core, and I think that really affected them offensively. He did say that he had won the division the previous 3 years. That's cool and all. That don't really mean nothing.
Right.
Because
Over division.
you know, and then in this case too, it seemed like they were going to run away with the division, and then they kind of fizzle out at the end, and then it comes to they win the game they need to win at the end, but with the Falcons winning, that put the Bucks out, and then it's kind of like if the Falcons hadn't had that inexplicable loss to the Jets, the Falcons win the division and they're in the playoffs. So it's Wednesday. So if they were going to fire him, I feel like you don't wait a few days. You know, I think I think teams should know by the end of the season, and we'll get to the Falcons later, which I figured they knew before Thanksgiving that it was the end for Raheem. So I think that I think that with the Bucks, I think they already knew, like, okay, yeah, he's going to be back, because they would have done it already. I don't think teams should wait, or I don't think teams are going to wait. And with all of the interview news that we've seen out there, then if with the guys being interviewed that are coordinators in the playoffs, that are coordinators for teams that didn't make it, like, these interviews are happening already. So the Bucks are already behind the 8 ball if they're waiting to decide with him. So I'm not surprised that he's coming back because it's Wednesday. It's 2 days later. They're already way behind if they're going to do it now.
Right.
But changes on the staff, you want to get better on offense, or at least have some where it's not so dependent on the top guys. Like Mike Evans is older, Chris Godwin is older, Ibuka was in and out of the lineup. Your running backs were in and out of the lineup. So I think they're just going to like retool. That's what they have decided to go with, retooling instead of just getting a new coach.
Yeah, I mean the players like him, and honestly, I thought the way they started out, I thought he coached well. I was a little bit surprising the fact that they started out 5-1. It was like, oh, this team, they look like a Super Bowl team. Then the injuries start flooding in, and I mean at that point, it's hard to ask Baker to save you. Then you get to the point where, I mean, he was MVP, then he had to start forcing throws. But you kind of get it. You kind of get it why he was forcing throws. You know what I'm saying? I mean, open. And and my thing is too, if Ibuka, the rookie, is your best receiver, not saying that a rookie receiver can't be your best. We've seen it Anquan Bolden. We've seen it a lot, but I mean, he was learning, and you could tell when he hit that curve. When, all right, now you the man. Nobody else is here. What you gonna do? He started to kind of, go through where he couldn't get, he was stuck, like he couldn't do anything, like he was stuck in mud. He couldn't get open. They were double teaming him. He didn't know how to react. So I get it, So like I said, you went through a lot, but I say get everybody healthy. I mean, Mike Evans gonna get hurt for 3 or 4 games in the season anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
but he would still get 1,000. He didn't this year, but he was still right. So when he's out there, he's still effective. But
yeah. So we'll see. I
think just with all the lineup changes, like you don't have that consistency. So I think that's what that's what hurt them in the end.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of getting healthy, and you got to do some other things, because I still think that Baker can only get you so far. And it's like at some points it's gonna look incredible. Like I said, he was in the MVP conversation. And then defensively, I don't know where they at. I mean, I know Vita Vea came in later in the season. So it's okay for them to take this route. Was it with Gatorade?
Somebody's hair. Yeah.
But to take the approach of just like, let's take a good hard look at this roster and what we need to do to retool, because like it's a division that can be won. Like no one expected the Panthers to win this division, and they did. And if a couple of bounces here or there, it could have been the Saints. So yeah,
it was like
it's basically just to get that edge going into next season.
Yeah. So, but like I said, shout out to Todd Bowles for getting that. Moving on, we got 3 people were arrested for the break-in for Shedeur Sanders, as well as the driver of the vehicle who was involved. They was doing a Week 11 matchup where Shedeur started. I don't know if that was his first start. I can't remember, but I know
it might have been, because it happened. That was during his first start.
And they broke in they bogus for that, knowing he playing so, but they stole over $200,000 worth of valuables. But like I said, they were arrested. We'll see what happens, see if it's them, and see if they caught. So this is real quick. Just shout out to Shedeur or whatever, man. They family forever getting robbed, either while they playing the game or after the game. Remember when Deion, they broke in Deion's locker when he was at
man, this
it's like
what I can.
I mean, Vince, it's just technical. The quiet storm. Moving on, And I think this is going to be interesting. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson announces that he intends on entering the 2026 NFL draft. Real
This,
quick, G.
yeah,
Go
this is a strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, you got to.
1 year as a starter. He's already 23. He could come back for another year, but he's already 23. And you know how the draft is about. I mean, I know Penix was older and Bo Nix was older, but this being considered a weak class, I mean, there's Fernando Mendoza, there's Dante Moore, and who's after that? Is if Ty Simpson comes in, he could be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he could.
And which doesn't really it's not really registering to me based on his skill set, but teams are looking for quarterbacks every year. Like,
Right.
are the Jets gonna take him? Are the Raiders gonna trade down to take him and feel like he's better than no? You never know. You never know with these teams. So, he's taking advantage of a situation. I don't know if he's going to be any good. I have no idea. At
Yeah.
Tyler Shuck, 26. So take it. So there are older rookie quarterbacks, but I think for Ty Simpson right now, where the quarterback market is as far as going into the draft, if he could be a top 10 pick, you go.
You go.
And kind of go from there. Like, I don't really blame him. I just don't know if he's going to be any good.
Right. Well, you never know. I mean, a lot of people that think, what's the quarterback that's in? I got drafted by New England. He's in San Fran now.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, people didn't think Mac was going to be that well, play that well, and look what he did his rookie year. I mean, then everybody said, well, he started. Look at what team he was on. Look who they had. They had no one. And then when you go to San Francisco, he balls out. Of course, it seemed like any quarterback could ball out in what's the name system, but he played well. He played great, accurate, not throwing picks or whatever. So, shout out to Mac. So we'll see. And shout out to Ty, man. We'll see what happens. All right, y'all. That ends quick hits, man. It's time to get to the hot topic. And we can pick any topic right now, but we're gonna go with the Falcons. Right now in Atlanta, it's blazing. Everybody's talking about the Falcons, and of course, Raheem got fired, and we saw then Terry got fired as well. Terry Fontenot, the GM. But let me tell y'all something. Let me just say this real quick. After the game, so I was able. So when the game was over, right before the game was over, I went to the press conference. Right, it was down like field level. So and when the game was over, Falcons won. Remember, as they were leaving, all you saw a few players walk by, like bench players, and you saw Arthur Blank come by, Mr. Blank. When I tell you, Mr. Blank, what's going on, Ab? When I tell you, Mr. Blank was somber, he was just looking down, and the whole time he was just wiping his face. He was just looking down, just like, okay, y'all just. Not only did y'all win, y'all beat the Saints. Usually, when the Falcons beat the Saints, that's a party. But you can tell by the way Mr. Blank, I was like, why is he looking like that? Why is the energy out? He was walking somber. Then we saw Terry Fontenot come by. I saw Terry Fontenot come by. He's like, he was in a deep thought as he's walking, staring at the floor or ground, just walking like he was in deep thought. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I'm thinking more so, hey, is this about Raheem? Are they thinking like we don't know? But this weird. Get to the press conference, G. In America, get to the press conference. Rod's is normal self. Hey, it's up to the dude. Ask him. Shout out to my guy Josh. Josh asked him, "Hey man, do you think you're gonna be here?" He's like, I mean, I hope so. He's like, I always hope so. It's up to Mr. Blank or whatever, but love the squad. And of course, Mr. Blank, he's sitting right there. He tried to get in good when he was saying that. If they think that I'm capable, I'd love to be back. Do you want to be back? Of course I want to be back. Mr. Blank was sick. Arthur Blank was like sick. He just looked somber. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, we've seen it with Arthur Blank. Like he can be loyal to a fault.
Loyal. Yeah.
This is a decision he didn't want to make, but it's like we need a change had to be made. And like he's saying, like it probably was made before Thanksgiving.
And that's what I was gonna say. I think the fact that, because it makes sense, they brought in, some people to help them, whoever, I forgot who it was, to help them come up with that decision. And sure enough, you can tell the decision was already made. And I feel like he was thinking, I don't know, because I know a lot of people was like, man, he shouldn't be there and all of that. But I don't know if y'all watch the news. I put the videos out. The players want him back. They wanted him back, and they voiced their opinion after the game. The funny thing is, if y'all don't know, Mr. Blank, Arthur Blank, he always have a year-end meeting, the end of the year meeting with the players himself. So it's not just the coaches. He's in there. He talks to the players and everybody. They made that decision before he was able to do that, and I think that was strategic because they know if he would have done that, listening to the players, they won. I believe Rob would have kept his job. But go ahead.
One of the guys that he'll listen to his players. Like he will listen to, like, it's his call, but he does like take in all the information. Like we saw, the epitome of that is that video of Terry Fontenot explaining to him why they drafted Michael Penix just a few weeks after signing Kirk Cousins, and he's listening. He's trying to understand. It didn't make sense to us either, Mr. Blank.
Hey, like I've noticed.
He tries to understand others' perspective, and it's his call. So I understand, like we can't take any chances of him changing his mind. So. Right. The influence is there for the people around him for these kinds of decisions, and
very loyal.
Because if he does it himself, like he doesn't want to. The thing that he's worried about, and with these other owners that are also getting older, like if they want to win a championship, they want to get a championship before they're out of here, and the more changes you have to make, like it's tough when you're. Raheem had what, 2 seasons? Mm-hmm. 2 seasons, and now we're looking for another coach. So it's tough when you have to do that so soon, and you wonder, like, well, are we being too quick with this decision, or is there potential? But I think that the people around him, not to say it wasn't his call, but the people around him was like, no, we gotta do something else. This isn't working, because this is as far as we can go.
But here's the other thing, though. I think that this is what we were talking about on Monday when we went down. It was a waste of time because nobody was there. We only talked to 2 people: the lone snapper and a third string linebacker. And a shout out to them and we thank them for doing that, but everybody else left. They weren't trying to talk. But the talk amongst the media was Rob probably lost his job because Terry Fontenot lost his job.
Well, a thing with that, though, also, Fontenot, normally we see, like, when a GM gets fired, the coach is going too. And a GM, you don't get to hire it's been a 4th head coach,
mm-hmm.
a third. Well, he came in with Arthur Smith, right? So hiring a 3rd head coach, at least, GMs don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. So,
they were saying because Terry was the first one to go. They knew Terry was going because, remember, he hadn't won any. He hadn't had a winning season.
They hadn't been to the playoffs. They hadn't been to the playoffs.
Yeah, right. I don't think they had a winning season. They haven't had a winning season at all or playoffs. But either or, the weird thing was he hit on his last 2 drafts. Terry hit like, I mean, dog. He killed that. Everybody he drafted for the most part, especially this draft, hit.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
the draft class that came in
was great.
was yeah.
It
I
was great.
think with the situation that they're in, because look at like this, when they brought in Kirk Cousins and then draft Michael Penix, okay, the plan is Michael Penix isn't supposed to play at least for 2 years, but you sign Kirk Cousins off of a torn Achilles and he's not fully healthy. And so if he struggles at all, they're going to be the calls to put in the rookie. And he played well enough to where he's the starter going into the next season, but you can't get rid of Kirk Cousins.
No, you
And
can't.
now I don't know if there was some kind of restructuring or anything. My understanding, like you kind of still stuck with Kirk Cousins for next year.
Yeah, for next year, unless he get traded. And I don't think that
And
was Terry at all.
no one's taking that contract.
Right. No one's taking that contract.
No one's taking that contract. So you're in a situation where Penix tore his ACL again, and Cousins is getting older. You're not necessarily in a position to. This isn't a strong quarterback draft class unless you find some diamond in the rough. So it's not the best situation. You know, they can. Okay, supposedly he restructured the contract.
Like $2,000.
Maybe they can get out of it, or maybe they can trade him. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
He gave $100,000 back out of
right.
million.
That's all he did.
So,
That's all he did. But look, let's move on to this though. After saying all of that, because you nailed it, they got to pay this man Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, 53 years old, still playing pretty well, but he owed. You still got to pay. I mean, you still got a rookie quarterback. He was a rookie quarterback still, but like you said, tore his ACL the 3rd time on, and you don't know when he's coming back. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out who would the Falcons get. Who do I like for the Falcons, or who do you like for the Falcons, and who do you see them? Who do you think they will get? Because let me say this, I'll tell you who I like for the Falcons. Believe it or not, it's Kevin Stefanski. I think Stefanski can coach. What happened in Cleveland, I just think him and the management, what I was hearing, him and management weren't seeing eye to eye. Of course, and this happened the year before last. I mean, he's been stuck with no quarterbacks. And then even the beginning of this year, before they even drafted Shador and Dillon, you look at the quarterbacks they had with Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and then Deshaun Watson, who was going to be missing time. Then you draft Dylan Gabriel, and then you draft a Shador, which he didn't want to draft. So I think he was out the door. His mind and everything was out the door anyway.
I think there was a clash over the management. Management wanted Shador to play, and
right.
Stefanski
He didn't want
to play him.
Right.
And so he just dealt with it the best he could by putting Shador in. They won a couple games, but it wasn't going to be. I mean, you're not going to go through another season of that. And the Browns are still kind of in quarterback jail right now because is Deshaun Watson going to be back? Is Shador going to be the starter? Is Dylan Gabriel going to be the starter? Can he get the job back?
Right.
So, as far as like who I like, okay, Stefanski, they're going to call Stefanski, I'm sure. I'm sure they've called John Harbaugh. They called him 20 seconds after the news came out.
Right.
But a retread, technically a retread with those guys, I don't know if that's the answer. But trying to get the fresh face. They'd done that before. Mike Smith, Dan Quinn, Arthur Smith. Those were their first head coaching positions. So it's really someone has to it's hard to tell who is the overwhelming. I don't think there's an overwhelming top choice. And with the coordinators that will have their opportunities, like Clint Kubiak is going to have an opportunity. The defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, Anthony Weaver, but should the Falcons go with more of an offensive mind?
Offense. You got to go offense because you can keep Brick. Because if they're able to keep Brick, which he's done a great job with those players. I mean, it's a young defense. Because the only thing the team missing really is a quarterback, like you stated. But only reason why I say, because I feel you with Kubiak, I'll go with a fresh face. But to me, with the Falcons, I think you need to go with a team that's going to, a coach that's going to give structure. Because they love Ra because Ra was friendly. I mean, man, you should be at training camp. Ra, the media was not happy. It was hot as hell, but the media was happy because of the way the atmosphere was, the way he made it. Ra made it. But if you bring somebody like no nonsense or just this is what's going to happen, and we're sticking to this, and they'll buy into that, I think it's that type of coach. But the reason why I say Stefanski is he's still young enough. Remember, he's a 2-time coach of the year, so it's not like he can't coach. And again, Marlon, I just think with Shedeur, it's not that he don't like Shedeur. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I think it was more so it didn't make sense to draft a second quarterback in the 5th round when you got 15 quarterbacks already. And then he knew what was going to come with the media. So I think he was upset with management, as the G said. But as far as his coaching, Stefanski can coach. I don't think you're going to bring a Harbaugh in because let's get it. Let's be real. Is this team attractive? And it's not because they have no cap space, no quarterback. It's not a quarterback draft coming up. So I'm like, who would want to come here anyway?
Getting the, and that's, I would lean towards, I know I said like a retread, but getting the veteran coach mind, that can kind of doesn't have to like there's no pressure with those kinds of there's no like, it's something they can handle. Like if they're okay, we got to put in the third guy on the depth chart at quarterback. It's not we're not coming in with a rookie that we can develop and have a clean slate. It's the
right.
It's maybe the Falcons can get Mac. I think Mac Jones he's gonna get a contract from somebody this offseason. Could be the Falcons to come in and be the guy and
until right.
Yeah, and make it work. So if they're trying to win now, if they feel like they have a roster, they can be in the playoffs next year. Getting the veteran coach could work, but it depends on I know the Falcons are using separate research firms to find a coach and a GM. So it depends on like what they think, what those candidates think this team can be next year. If you can be a playoff team, I go with the veteran coach. If not, there's still a lot of development to be made. Then go with a Clint Kubiak or or an Anthony Weaver, or I think one of the Rams. It's the Rams offensive coordinator who's the son of a coach, I think. So,
right.
So get the young man, and then Joe Brady is also out there. But I think Joe Brady is being very picky because he could have been a head coach 6 years ago, and he still hasn't. He's waiting for that right position.
Right position. Well, look, let's wrap it up. I just again, I think that you have we both agree the team is talented. I mean, you got a young defense. Again, you got a rookie who had 10.5 sacks, who didn't start until what, week 7 probably, and then you have probably more than that. I forgot when he first got a start, but then you still got Jalen from Georgia, but then you got a safety who led the rookies this year with 5 picks. So you got a good. Then you got Caden Ellis. You got a good nucleus. You know what I'm saying? Good team, good defensive tackle they drafted last year. So you got a good team, and then of course a top 2 running back, and I still think you got the right quarterback, a top 5 receiver, and Drake London. So we'll see what happens, man. And I mean, it's just something to look forward to. But I want to move on. What was very great, yeah, and Matt Ryan's about to be the new president. We know that, yep. But what was great was what is great or has been great is and I wish Maceo was here because Maceo been complaining about it. But the college football playoffs. And before we get to that, G, we got to do this. We're gonna go quickly. It's been a minute since we've done this. I done this with you, but hey, man, it is now time for that nosy neighbor watch. And G, I want you to give me your nosy neighbor right now for right now. What's going on in college?
I'm looking at Ole Miss, honestly. It seems like the thing that they have to overcome is however loud Michael Irvin is talking or barking or whipping a Gatorade bucket. It seems like that's the only thing they have to worry about. They have all the tools to beat Miami. I kind of am in the mode of I'm just waiting for Carson Beck to not show up. And Ole Miss is playing with a lot of they're playing with several chips on their shoulder. Like we got a coach that took a job in the same division of the conference.
Right.
If they do divisions anymore, I'm not even sure they do, but y'all get the point.
Yeah.
And this is the greatest team in the history of the school by far. And they have a chance to do something that, some of their greatest players couldn't do. Like, Archie and Eli didn't get them to this kind of situation. So they have a chance to accomplish something great. And is there a letdown after beating Georgia? So there's still a lot for them to play for, but do they still have anything left for another game, for 2 more games? So that's who I'm looking at.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm being nosy. I'm going back to Ohio State, man. I'm as they cleaning their offices and talking. I want to be with the students because these days is what have you done for me today? Forget lately because we know Ohio State won last year. But the fact that they got beat like they did, I can hear the talk.
There is someone who should look at then.
Who?
The people who schedule these games. We have done college football playoff for 2 seasons. The team with the bye is 1-7. It's like the bye doesn't matter.
Right.
The once they play, they've had 3.5 weeks off. And it's over the Christmas holiday where they're going home, for a break. You lose that like how consistent can you be in that kind of situation? You lose your rhythm. Teams come out rusty. And then it's possibly they wake up and it's too late.
That's what happened with.
Indiana, Indiana, I haven't read anything, but I was probably none of them went home. They still had their, they still, at least had film sessions, if not going out for practice. And not to
Right.
say that the other teams didn't do that either, but the scheduling of these games, the bye means nothing.
No,
You,
it's like
you
you
have,
said, it's hurtful. Yeah, it more so hurts you. Yeah, you're right. So speaking of that, with the playoffs itself, I want to know then, do you think because of how everything unfolded, it was a lot of talk. Y'all, everybody, y'all in here, y'all know how Maceo was going in. Some other people were saying, "Oh, it sucks. I don't like it and everything." But you see how it is now. You see the games this year. What happened? Do you think it will change the minds of the naysayers of the college football playoffs and the brackets and the 12 teams in there?
in its current state, no, it won't change their minds. And this is going to continue to be tweaked. There could be 16 teams next year. And I mentioned this to y'all before. It's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. We're going to have a tournament with 184 teams. It's just going to be everybody. It's going to be like, I don't know if they
Right.
do this anymore, but in Indiana for high school basketball, everybody was in the tournament. Like every single high school in the state of Indiana, one big tournament. you know, so um, it's never going to be enough. It's going to continue to be tweaked. I have suggested to people that I think the holdup with this is the Rose Bowl, since they insist on being on January 1st. Make that the semifinal. One of the semifinal games is going to be the Rose Bowl. So you can play it on January 1st, play the national championship on January 9th or 10th. And we're not dragging this out.
Right.
I feel like the first round games were like
Too much.
12 years ago. And so it's because it's dragged out so much. And it takes so long, you forget who's playing, you forget who's actually in it. Like whoever, like if you got put out in the first round, did it matter that you were in it at all? Like James Madison and Tulane are already forgotten about.
It was in it. I forgot they were in it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I forgot. You're right. I totally forgot they were in it. So you're right. I definitely agree.
So it's going to continue to be tweaked. I mean, having special rules for Notre Dame, since they're not in the conference, them going into a conference doesn't matter. And they're not going to do it anyway, because that means they have to share their revenue with the rest of the conference, and they don't want to do that.
So, yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with that. Is there a team? And chat, y'all, let me know. Is there a team that you feel, I guess, you trust the most now out of these four teams?
Indiana.
Indiana. My pick was Indiana.
Yeah, so. Indiana has not. They are not playing around. They are not playing around. They come in. They and Alabama, even though they're not the Alabama that could it intimidate other teams, or at least think about, well, they're Alabama, so they could do something. Indiana wasn't buying any of that. They weren't listening to any of that. They came in to do what they do. And I believe Mike said they got wives and kids. Yeah, they are older. There are a lot of older players on that Indiana team, so they're not messing around. I'm not saying they're a team of destiny, but they are a team on a mission. This was a job that they bring in Kirk Cignetti. Okay, like he's from the Nick Saban tree, but going to Indiana, who's never been good at football. Like that was their second bowl win in the history of their school. or at least the second one in the last 35 years.
Right.
And Fernando Mendoza, who came from Cal, then they were like, "Why are you going to Indiana?" He saw something, or he saw the vision, or something to that effect. So they're on a mission, and it's kind of flipped the college football world upside down, and this Final Four in general, because Miami hasn't won a national championship since 2001. Ole Miss, I don't believe, has ever won one, at least not before the civil rights movement. Indiana's never won one, and Oregon maybe won one in the 40s, but if they won one ever, they've had a few chances, but they haven't won one. So we're seeing like a new, it's a new era. This is a new era. So, but I see Indiana is on a mission. Like they beat Oregon already, so it's not like there's any kind of there's no fear or worry. Like, we beat them, we know what they do, we can do it again.
Right. Look, so Marlon said something funny. He said he playing for their dads and uncles. You're right. And the fact that they got their main uncle, Uncle Irvin, as G talked about earlier, cheering them on. And I mean, Mike is the next person after Ray Lewis that could get somebody to run through a wall, you know what I'm saying, with a speech and how he's pumped up. So, but how they're playing right now, I like how Ole Miss playing. Ole Miss, because of what's happened with Lane and all that, so they're pumped. But I think Miami, man, it seems like Miami's on a mission. I'm not gonna lie, and I still think Indiana can win. That's my pick, but I think Miami's the team I would be most scared of. They play so physical. Miami playing like a SEC team right now.
Yeah, they have the defense has been great these first two games. If the offense, I mean, basically you're asking the offense just to, if you can get us 17 points, we'll handle the rest.
Right.
And 17 points, holding a team to 17 points or less in college football sounds impossible.
Right.
It sounds impossible to hold a team to hold a team down like that. So the way the defense has played the first two games, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and just completely shut down Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. They just need the offense to do a couple of things. I think that's where they are as a defense. So, and the thing is, like playing for all the OGs like Irvin and Lewis and Warren Sapp, and they have wanted to be back to what they were so bad. And it's all these other things, all these other factors that have kept it from happening. So when they have an opportunity, Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, whoever's going to this game will not let them forget about the opportunity that they have. That's why Michael Irvin has been what he is. He's been acting this way throughout the playoffs. He's like, we have a chance to do something. And he wants the football program to have that rep back so bad. It's enough for everyone. Yeah. He wants it enough for everyone. So they definitely have the opportunity.
Who are your, just quickly, who are your 4 picks?
But for the games?
Yeah.
I'm taking Indiana and I because I want to see it. I'm taking Miami, Indiana versus Miami for the championship.
Oh, because you want to see it.
Realistically, Ole Miss can win the game. I'm not saying they can't win. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I did tell people, like, when Miami played Ohio State, I felt like Ohio State was going to play tight, And because of the long layoff, it's like first team to score 13 points is going to win. And Miami went up 14-0, and it really
Yeah.
felt like it was over.
I have Miami. I think Miami's gonna be Ole Miss. That's gonna be a great game though. But I just think Miami just got that extra. You got Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis. If Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis give a speech, it's a wrap. You know. I think Miami's gonna win, and I think Indy. I got Indiana, and I think I want Indiana to win. I want Big Ten to win, but I don't know. I just felt like you said, it might be destiny that Miami wins this. And again, you got those two guys. You got Ed Reed, but they giving speeches. If we see Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, even if they're not playing, but we see them on the sideline with their heads together, foreheads touching together, and they talking, it's a wrap. Miami winning. Just let you know now. Miami's winning the whole thing. Because
It's just the thing with Miami, like with those guys, it's really is. You feel like it is a different mindset, a different attitude as far as what that program is and how they got to where they were. They came out of nowhere in 1983, out of
yeah,
nowhere,
but yeah,
and because of the reputation they had and all the players that have come through and what they've become, and this climb back to get back to national prominence.
mm-hmm.
You have Michael Irvin, who was on a national championship team. Ed Reed was on a national championship team. That's where like they knew what it took, and they have to, and they believe they have to. The program has to get back to that.
Right.
We gonna see it. Michael looking to see if he got some eligibility left. We gonna see
ain't playing
on the sideline. We gonna see it.
Hey, I think he's gonna they're gonna call a flag on him because he's gonna run out on the field arguing with the ref, and they're gonna call a flag. Watch. I bet you. Before this playoff is over, I bet you. All right, man. Let's move on. I know we started late, but we're gonna speed it up. But all right, G. Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young. Now, look, I know some people say I told you Trae was gonna get traded. No, me and Mace told y'all from here. We kept saying, no matter what, they won't trade Trae unless Trae wants to be traded. It's going to take Trae to be like, all right, I'm ready, and that's what we see. Other than that, if Trae wanted to stay, he wasn't going anywhere. They weren't going to make him leave. The wrestlers weren't going to make him leave. The owners. So, but I was shocked I wasn't shocked when I heard that. It was like, wow, okay. But what I was shocked at is when he chose the Washington Bullets. I'm like, what? Like, come on, y'all. And I said Bullets on purpose, but I mean, I don't know if it's because he think they could get money. Do you think because they could pay him, or like, bro, what you?
I think he's seeing an opportunity to where he can be the guy, and then this is year 8 for him, and kind of be that veteran leader. Or are they going to be in the playoffs or contend for a championship? Not with just bringing in a Trae Young. No, it
No.
definitely is going to be more than that. There's a long way to go. But in looking at what other teams he could fit in with, he could fit in with a Milwaukee. But what does Milwaukee have that Atlanta would want and feel like they got? They feel good about the deal that has been made.
Right.
I think another team that came up was Phoenix. The Rockets have also come up. Fred VanVleet, he's probably not going to play this season. But will Trae Young, will that disrupt what the Rockets have going? So I felt for the longest time that there wasn't really a trade market for Trae, in which You bring in Trae, your team is better. Like the Atlanta was the best situation for him. And would Atlanta, are they going to be able to make a deal that they would feel good about trading Trae Young? And so the thing that's been proposed is him for CJ McCollum and maybe a couple draft picks. Like, what is it? So if that's the case, I'm like, well, you know, to me, it turns into this is a failure possibly on Quinn Snyder's part. And what I mean is, if Jalen Johnson is clearly taking the step, I think he's going to be an all-star this year, averaging nearly a triple-double.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make that work with Trae.
A lot of
people like he had a few triple doubles, and we were like, oh, they need to trade Trae. Why do they need to trade Trae? Like, why can't this work with Trae?
Because
how do you make this mess? If you can't do it, I feel like that's a coaching failure.
It is, because I told you he cannot coach stars. It's not the fact that people because they're tired of Trae or they want to put everything on Trae. This is not Trae the reason why they can't play together. No, it's because of Quinn's coaching style, and Quinn don't like to have star. Because think about it, Jalen Johnson, he doesn't have that star mentality. He doesn't act like a star. He does whatever the team needs him to do. So he's not the type like, give me the ball, I'm gonna go get that bucket at the end. That's not his type. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna make that play. He could just make a play. You know who he reminds me of? He's a more skillful Karolinko. Karolinko did everything together. It's just a different league now. Everything, you know, in the seat and at one time, it's a different league now. Karolinko couldn't handle the rock and shoot 20 times and still get 10 rebounds and get 7 assists. But remember, Karolinko was getting what, 17, 9, and
17, 9, and 6 or 7 with 2 blocks.
It was the same player, so he wasn't a star. But I think, like you said, G, and I agree with you 1,000%. Why, when you have one of the most unselfish players in the league, as far as I'm playing style now, as far as you get somebody getting 11 dimes, he can score 25 points, he can be clutch. His first thought is assist, and you got somebody like a Jalen Johnson, and you put these pieces, you know, you got Nikhil now, Yeka's playing great. Why can't this work? Why?
Like you said, and with the other guys, like you got, I know Trae vouched to bring in Nikhil Alexander-Walker. He vouched to bring in Luke Kennard.
Exactly.
Yeah, he vouched to bring those guys in. So now you got shooters. You got a guy who, Luke Kennard can come off the bench, hit threes. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, if he's not starting, he can come off the bench and be another perimeter defender. Jalen Johnson takes this step. Onyeka Okongwu has expanded his game to the 3-point line. So everyone's improving. I know Trae was hurt, he was out, but if you to me, logically, if you bring him in, everyone can still do what they do, and the team's a little bit better. They were like 7-2, 7-3 in the first 10 games that Trae was out, but then they've kind of been 500 without him. But I think people are still stuck on that they won those games without him, so they don't need him. And I think people who say that they just want him out of there. They want Trae out of there. But I think with the Hawks, like trying to get the right deal for them, and that's what they're supposed to do, get the right deal for them. I don't know if that's out there. If it's the Wizards for CJ McCollum and whatever, that's not. It's going to look bad, and not to say that Trae's going to win a championship or whatever with the Wizards, but it's like, what was this all for? And I don't know what the reason is to suddenly get rid of Trae. If there's a clash with the front office or a clash with Quinn Snyder, that's one thing. But for what the roster is, it doesn't really add up to me.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I'm not G, but Mike, they did. But here's the thing: Trae Young got hurt like what, second week of the season, something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, and Jalen was missing games. So that's the part that we're like, which is crazy, is you still haven't seen all of them play. You hadn't seen Porzingis, Jalen Johnson, and Trae Young play. I think they played like one game together. That's it.
And there's a lot of impatience, I think, on the Atlanta fans' part, that Trae was hurt. They won a few games. Oh, Trae. It was like so soon after they won a few games. He comes back, they lose. It was like 2 games. They
Yeah,
lost the game. Like, see, that's why we need to trade Trae. Like,
he's not
it's
even healthy.
and then with Porzingis, I don't know how much he's going to if he's going to come back at all. I don't know what kind of illness that is. So it's just unfortunate. But
Can I?
like we haven't, like you said, we haven't seen what the team could be at full strength enough to
Nope.
warrant this kind of discussion.
Can I a question? Do you really believe that the Hawks will be better than they have been with Trae without Trae?
Will they be better without Trae
Yes.
than they were with him?
And I ain't talking about just
What's
this year.
that mean? Like going forward? I don't know, because I don't know what the Hawks are doing. I'm like, are you okay? Is Jalen Johnson going to be the guy now?
Yeah, they're gonna make him. That's what they want.
I mean, and I know, and Reese Shea, a #1 pick, he's the future. But it's like, what are your expectations with the rest of these guys? Because you can with bringing in CJ McCollum, and he's going to be then you get the cap space, because CJ is not coming back to Atlanta. This is a rental of CJ McCollum. And so you get the cap space, but what free agents come to Atlanta?
Right. Thank you. That's what I was going to say. Who comes to Atlanta? And see, this is my thing, G. This is what I understand, because you had Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka. And I think they didn't want to pay him either, because they were like, I don't know if we're going to pay Trae. But anyway, Onyeka, forget Porzingis, because he's not going to be there. But then next year, you have New Orleans pick. And what if that turns into it's going to be a top 5 automatic. It's going to be, lottery and top 5 pick. And you get, what if you get Boozer? Or any of them guys, but what if you get Boozer?
Oh, another small forward? You already got 12 of them on your roster.
See, right. But at that point, you can play, because I think Jalen can, I mean, in this league today, you can play 2, 3, or 4. The way Boozer plays, though, I like Boozer. Boozer's nice. Boozer might come in there and might be better than Jalen. You know what I'm saying? When you get there, Jalen's stat stuffer, but as far as playing basketball, Boozer, he can play. We know that. So, or whoever you get, but still, now you build it. You don't have to pay Boozer anything until another 3 years. Now you building a team, but now you get rid of Trae, and it's like you're going back to what you were before. We're gonna be just making a play-in.
Having the cap space, it doesn't
It don't mean anything.
it doesn't matter. The free agents do not come to Atlanta.
You just pay Onyeka. And then Mike, just to answer your question, Mike asked, did Porzingis miss a game because he was at Magic City? No, he got hurt. He got hurt when he walked into Magic City. He tripped over the thing when you walk in, and then he got hurt.
He hit his head on the door.
He's gonna be out 8 weeks. So, but all right, man. That's enough for the Hawks, man. We gotta move on. Real quick, G, you gotta stop it. Because I got one.
It's not sports related, but it is a.
Go ahead.
I think everyone can relate to it. To the people I think they're in Chicago, in your town, suing McDonald's about the McRib. Because it's like, it's not real rib meat. No one ever thought that no one ever thought the McRib was actual rib meat. They thought it was everything but some kind of pig. It was made out of squirrel. It was made out of possum. It was made out of giraffe toes. Like, so this lawsuit, and McDonald's said if you read the ingredients, we didn't say it was rib meat. We just called it the McRib. That's not the same as rib. It's our version of a rib. We put these parts together and made it look like.
That's why it's called. That's why it's called a McRib. It ain't called a rib. It's called a
rib. It just looked like a rib. It's not an actual rib. We didn't say it was an actual rib. So that's their counter.
You know what? Now that you say, hold on, let me get him to stop it. Hey,
Stop
Momo. Now that you say I don't eat pork, but I'm not going to McDonald's to get a McRib sandwich now. I can eat one. Now be straight.
Well, I don't know what it's made of. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if anyone's knows what bush meat is. It could be that. So it's at your own risk.
Hold on. Well, yeah, he get it. Antonio Brown got to get one too, dog. He getting to stop it.
He might be going to jail. It don't matter.
Jail, right. Right. But no. I'm gonna tell you, get to stop it. I gotta give one to who's the Dallas Cowboys owner? Jerry Jones. This is what Jerry Jones said. I'm gonna read it verbatim because I can't believe he said this. That's why he gets to stop it. Jerry Jones said his goal is to retire with the most Super Bowl wins. Say it one more time. His goal is to retire with the most Super Bowl wins.
Stop it.
He got to win 4. He got to win 4. He has 3. If we're talking about just him individually, he has 3.
He has to win
4.
My point exactly. He has a better chance of getting that oil from what Trump about to get. Ooh, did I say that? That's what I read. I'm just saying what I read. But anyway, yeah, man, he tripping, man. But hey, man, let me get to the NFL. G, I want to get to the NFL and not the playoffs yet, but this coaching carousel, man. I'm not gonna lie, G. I don't know how shocked you were. I was shocked when I heard about Harbaugh. I did not think that was coming. Not like that. I thought we would have heard more of, well, they've been talking to Harbaugh, in meetings for the last 2 days. It didn't happen like that. It just came out, Harbaugh is no longer the coach. I was shocked.
It seemed like hearing it on Monday, there were reports that, Baltimore is leaning towards keeping Harbaugh and just kind of retooling the coaching staff. And I wasn't really surprised at that. Like, okay, he's going to stay and they're going to try to make it work. And then when they went ahead and fired him, I kind of still wasn't surprised. Like, it really could have gone either way. Like, I did look at that that Ravens Steelers game as loser leaves town. So
you hear that, right?
But then there turned out to be more reports, and I don't know how real these reports are. I think like some beat writers could make stuff up. They really could.
Yeah.
But then for the news to come out that, okay, Lamar and John Harbaugh were clashing, or that John Harbaugh lost the locker room, which is like the kiss of death, but that could be made up. I don't know if he really lost the locker room. But also it could just be, it was time. I mean, 18 years. We don't see that. We hardly see that anymore.
Right.
Where a guy is with the team that long. I mean, there's Mike Tomlin on the other side going into year 20.
He's not getting fired. I know y'all keep saying that they don't fire people.
I didn't. Yeah, the Rooneys have a way of doing things. Right. They have changed only a few things just to keep up, but for the most part, they're going to stay with what they do. They're going to still run that 3-4. Yeah. They're still going to use their first round pick if they got it. But I think with Harbaugh, like in some cases though, the Steelers are the anomaly. With in some cases, teams just need a new voice. If Harbaugh did lose the locker room, then you don't get them back. If you lose them, you don't get them back. So it might just be time for a new voice and a new era. And but also looking at the totality with Harbaugh, yeah, he's got that Super Bowl, but that can only take you so far. I mean, look at the Eagles firing Doug Peterson soon after winning one, and Sirianni's been on the hot seat, and the Eagles are still winning games. So it's not like he was protected, and plus that Super Bowl was 13 years ago. So,
Yeah.
but also with the expectations, like this was supposed to be the year for the Ravens to make that Super Bowl run. Because you see the Chiefs are falling off, but then the Ravens started 1-5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it was an uphill climb anyway, against their expectations. It was a new era, but it's not like he's gone forever. Like I said, 20 seconds after the news came out, his agent said he has been contacted by all the other teams that have a vacancy.
Right. So, but look, this is the thing with that situation, especially with Harbaugh. That just let me know they wanted to fire him. It was an excuse because. So you saying that his firing was hinged on a missed field goal, on a field goal where he missed it or made it? Because he would have made it, he's going to the playoffs. And the way they battled and played, and his quarterback finally looked healthy. You know what I'm saying? So y'all saying people. When I say y'all, I'm just saying, you know what? As my co-host would say, Mace, use out there. Use out there. He always say that y'all saying that he was gonna get. I mean, he got fired because he lost a lot of. No, if they would have made a field goal, he probably would have stayed, and more than likely, they probably would have moved on. I could see them beating Houston, maybe. I mean, because what do you have? What do they have that most of the teams in the AFC doesn't have or don't have? Denver don't have it. New England don't have it. Houston doesn't have it. Jacksonville really doesn't have it. Chargers don't have it. They haven't won a game. And I thought that if they won, that was they're gonna make a run because they do have a running game. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, they have nothing, and people still say Thomas should get fired. Now I do agree that it's a time for Tomlin to leave. It's time, whatever, because they just need a new voice. But I don't even know if they need a new voice because they got different people there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they just keep replacing them. So they don't have talent like we always talk about. So I just think that the Ravens they were ready to fire Harbaugh. They thought like y'all thought. It's time for a new voice. It's time for a change. I think that's what they were thinking, and they did it. Like Cuz said, Greg said, let's see what they do. Let's see what Lamar does without Harbaugh. Let's see if they have a offensive coordinator who like to air the ball out, and throw it. Just think if Lamar was under Shanahan's system. Oh my God, But we'll see. I just, like I said, regardless of what happened with Harbaugh, no matter what, as you mentioned, he got calls 20 seconds later. His agent did, and I believe it's a good market out there. And I'm going to ask you right now, what is the team that you see him going to? What is the best? What is the best situation right now out there, including Atlanta? If you want to put Atlanta in there, what is the best situation? Give me two best. Because I think number one is obvious.
Trying to think who's all available. I do think they're most of them are bad. The Raiders, that's bad. The Titans is bad. I guess I would say the Giants, because they have what they believe is some kind of future. Um, they have their quarterback. They have their running back. Uh, their running back may only last a couple more years because of the way he plays.
Right.
They need to keep their quarterback from playing the same way. Otherwise, he's going to have a 3-4 year career.
Right.
Stop running them QB. Don't run those QB powers, man. That's what got Dable fired.
Right. Right.
And yeah, I would say the Giants, and the card. Well, if he's looking for a place to kind of like start over, because I think the Cardinals are starting completely over. Like Kyler Murray is not going to be back. Or if you're looking for like, let's see if we can build something with Cam Ward in Tennessee, that I don't think that's a terrible situation. They got a ways to go, but it's a fresh start with a young quarterback, so that could work. And Vegas is a similar situation where like, okay, this is a totally new thing, and I don't know how much Tom Brady is going to have influence on that situation, but Vegas isn't bad. But I think the Giants is the top, the most attractive job for him.
I say the Giants. I say the Giants, and then Tennessee is cool. I mean, because you got your franchise quarterback. Defense is pretty good, But to me, I'm like Cuz said, my other Cuz, both of them jokers in the St. Louis area. But Juan, Cuz, I'm going with you, dog. I like Cleveland. I think Cleveland. I mean,
that's not for the TV ratings, because when the first Ravens Browns game,
it's gonna be crazy.
Sunday Night Football.
No, I'm not saying that's crazy. Even when the Browns play Pittsburgh, it's gonna be renewed. But no, I say the Cleveland Browns because it's like Tennessee got their franchise quarterback. Cleveland, we don't know. You might have your franchise quarterback because you might have a coach now that's really invested in your quarterback. But you got a nice young running back. The defense is crazy. We know that's Harbaugh's. That's what he does. So with that defense, and you got a running back, that's half of what he believes in, or that's 75% of what he believes in a football team. But then again, if you got your franchise quarterback, or if you get another quarterback, but to stay in that division, the division, you know how the division operates. You know what Baltimore does. You know how to play Baltimore. I mean, prepare for Baltimore because that was your team. Now they might have a new scheme, but I guess the tales of all the players. Their what they do. You know what I'm saying? You know what Pittsburgh does, and you know what Cincy does. And you got a great defense, got a nice running back. Why not? Why not? You got a young quarterback who could be the future. Why wouldn't you? I just think it'll be Giants, of course, and then Cleveland. I think it'll make sense. Besides, so let me ask you this. Besides Harbaugh, because like I said, I like Stefanski, and I wouldn't even mind Stefanski going to the Giants just because he's offensive minded. But do you think Mike McCarthy comes back? Because you've been hearing his name. I've been saying his name for the last 4 weeks, even before the season ended. McCarthy's coming back. Do you see McCarthy being able to take over any of these teams? Because McCarthy well.
It's possible, but my criticism of McCarthy is
what? It ain't what that he had Jerry Jones? Because Jerry Jones is the reason why Dallas don't win.
Wasn't that?
I think because he's gonna win 12 games.
He won a Super Bowl because he had Aaron Rodgers. Other than that, he has been a coach that can only get you so far strategically. He's an offensive mind, but his offense has been it's been bland. There There weren't a lot of explosive plays while he was in Dallas. And then there were some things that he didn't corral, as far as like there was a lot of, and still is a lot of, undisciplined football for Dallas. But then there it was kind of that case with and then with Green Bay, it was just something that
They could get over the hump. They couldn't beat San Fran. They couldn't beat San Fran. Think about it. The Giants won 2 Super Bowls, and every time they played San Fran, they lost.
But here was also the issue. Green Bay played so well in the regular season at home, but then when they have home field advantage and they still had to play in Green Bay.
Yeah, but they were playing. Yeah, they were playing
that the way they did in cold weather.
It was two teams though, the Giants and San Fran. They could not beat. They would beat them. Yeah. Eli, and no matter, San Fran would beat them. I don't know why. But look, I will say this about Jerry Jones. You say undisciplined and whatever, but isn't that why Parcells left? Because Parcells couldn't discipline his team.
Well, the Jerry was making all the decisions. It's like the coach had no control. That's why Jason Garrett was there for so long.
But right, but that's why. But that's my
with Parcells. It was he couldn't get the players that he wanted. He got a few of the players, but not probably everyone that he felt he might have needed.
That's my part. That's my thing, though. G. What if McCarthy hadn't got who he wanted to get? When you think about those Green Bay teams, yeah, he had Aaron Rodgers. Even with Brett, y'all forget. Remember, he made Brett Favre. He was the one when Brett Favre was doing all that. We're gonna take time. No, remember he came in like, no, either you gonna play or you gonna be in the streets. And Brett Favre came. And remember, 2007, they went to the NFC Championship, but they lost to who? The New York Giants, Eli Manning. But
at home,
right? But I'm just saying, I don't think he was able to have full control of a team. Whereas if he goes elsewhere, he knows how to win. He's always going to win 10 to 12 games. But if he's able to have control of his team, maybe so. Because to me, I think it's Aaron Rodgers more than him.
If McCarthy does go somewhere, I think it will be. I think it would be the Titans. Just to he's got a quarterback and then something to like kind of build on. And I don't think there will be a whole lot of pressure on him. Like with Green Bay, it was pressure to win right away. With Dallas, it was pressure to win right away. I think it would be a little bit easier and simpler for him to go to a place like Tennessee where he can, help develop Cam Ward and that roster going forward. I see what Mark said about Matt LaFleur. He is we'll see. We'll see how this playoff game goes. They're playing your Bears. They're playing your Bears. If Green Bay loses a close game, he'll be back. If they get run off the field, he's out.
Thank God.
On that one coordinator I was thinking of was his brother, Mike LaFleur, who's also could be a coaching candidate.
But thank God, get LaFleur out because LaFleur is an offensive genius. Now, if LaFleur went to to the Cleveland Browns or the New York Giants or even the Atlanta Falcons, shout out to Miles. He said, y'all getting something. That dude is an offensive genius. But, I mean, I just think it's Green Bay, man. They just can't. To me, Green Bay is not even good enough. Even with the team they have now, the team they had a few years when they made that little run, they lost to the San Francisco 49ers. I think the Green Bay just can't beat 49ers and Giants teams. But they didn't have a good roster like that. He still don't have a great roster right now, and he's winning games. So for them to say LaFleur, they're gonna get rid of LaFleur, they tripping. Look, Marlon, I bet you would take him in Atlanta. Yeah, right. Because I just don't see why they would let go of LaFleur. But I think with McCarthy, though, I just think we don't know yet because he hadn't had full control. Every coach has went to Dallas. They don't have control. It's a weak team as far as discipline, and they can't get over the hump. And I said it, they would never get over the hump as long as Jerry Jones is the owner and he's making calls. They just don't, because when have you seen that happen in football? When is an owner Like even
He's
when
he's
John,
he's the last of that kind of owner that is a football guy that sees themselves as a football guy. Yeah, like guys that are connected to Sean McVay, who is in turn connected to the Shanahan coaching tree, they're gonna get looks. They're gonna get the call. They're gonna get called.
they
If
said,
and McVay, he's already got his own tree. Like with Raheem Morris is part of his tree, Zach Taylor is part of his tree, and now we're getting Shula from the Rams, or is he with the Chargers? Whoever, uh, and Mike LaFleur, who was on. There's this. I don't know if y'all seen this picture of like I think it was the 2012 or 2013 Washington, well, now Commanders, but who was on their staff. It was like 8 guys who became head coaches at some point.
mm,
Well, I'm saying with McVay has his own, like if you coach with McVay, that's the primary look, even though, yes, McVay is part of the Shanahan tree, but with
right,
his own branch, those guys are getting the calls.
right. No, I feel you. So we'll see. Like I said, it's a lot of teams that's open. I wonder what coaches now the coaches are available now after firings and all of that. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. All right, y'all. We're gonna take a quick break and we will be back with some family in the building. And I think the family got to see the surprise. But anyway, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Have a sports injury? Need to see an orthopedic doctor? Ortho Atlanta is one of Metro Atlanta's largest orthopedic and sports medicine practices, providing orthopedic and sports medicine care for the whole family. With 37 physicians and 14 offices, the practice provides the highest level of care for injury of muscles, joints, bones, and spine. Ortho Atlanta offers convenient access to a full range of musculoskeletal surgeons and specialists. Ortho Atlanta also offers on-site physical therapy, pain management care, MRI imaging, and workers' compensation care. The Ortho Atlanta surgery centers in Austell and Fayetteville provide cost-effective, same-day surgical procedures in an accredited outpatient center. Hip, knee, shoulder, back pain? Ortho Atlanta has you covered with specialists in all areas. Same-day appointments, orthopedic care for the whole family. Ortho Atlanta, Atlanta's choice for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Learn more at www.orthoatlanta.com.
Yo, what up? This is Tyrese Maxson. You're listening to 3 Point Conversion.
All right, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And we do have family in the building. We have none other than orthopedic for Ortho Atlanta, Dr. Donnie Fowler III. What up, Doc? How you like your surprise,
What's
man?
up, man? Look who we got here. I like it. I like it. I mean, I it wasn't going to be like John Shire or something, but this is pretty cool.
Oh man, yeah, man. Like the old crew getting back together again, man. But anyway, Happy New Year's, Doc, and hope your holidays went well. So I'm still hurting, Doc. So
It was. How are you guys doing?
Good. All right, Doc. So listen, I want to ask you first. Trent Williams and Ricky, is it Pearsall? How you say his name? Pearsall.
Pearsall.
Is it Pearsall? Okay,
I just say
Pearsall.
Pearsall.
Okay,
Yeah.
Pearsall didn't practice today. Doc, I want to ask you, what are the chances of them playing on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards or feeling better about Trent Williams playing. Tackle. It's rare you'd say a lineman's more important than a receiver, but in this case, I think that's probably the truth between the two of them based on who else, at the skill positions the 49ers have out there. Not that Pearsall is not talented and important, but I feel like they kind of rested Trent. It's a hamstring. I think he's going to get back and be able to move well enough to be out there. I mean, we're talking playoffs now. This isn't regular season. I guess I'm a little more apprehensive about Pearsall with his PCL kind of knee re-aggravation. I think it's just going to come down to how well he can move in practice. I'm sure they'll try to get him out there in some limited fashion over the next couple of days, but I think his is a little more dicey to be back this weekend.
All right.
Chargers running back Omarion Hampton didn't practice today. He has an ankle injury. Would a shot or anything help him? We'll be able to help him throughout the game. Like, I'm not sure what the exact detail of his ankle injury is. I know it could be anything, but what I guess as far as protecting the ankle to be ready to play and at his position, what would he have to look for or do?
Yeah, I think this one's tough. Did we intentionally line up G to have one of his UNC players that he could talk about with Omarion? But no, I mean he's been great. Obviously, he was out for a while. What's that? He's been great. He's been out for he was out for a while. Yeah, he was out for a while with that ankle. So you don't like seeing him back on the shelf with I guess a re-aggravation or whatever we want to call it. They have, as G said, they haven't been very open about the extent of what he's dealing with. Again, it's the playoffs. It's not the regular season. So I'm sure they're going to do everything possible to get him out there. And yes, sometimes that means doing some kind of Toradol or lidocaine kind of injection if structurally it's stable enough and it's just a pain thing to try to get him to be able to play through it. But obviously at the same time, they certainly weigh the best interest, long-term of, their career. So again, important position. He's got to be able to move and cut. They got some decent run behind him. Vidal and whoever else did a decent job when he was gone, but Hampton is still kind of a little more of an X factor. So I think they'll do everything they can to get him out there. It'll be interesting to see.
All right. So I got to be I'm glad I got this question. A little biased, but with the Bears, man, Kyler Gordon, the nickelback, he is missing, and you see the Bears defense is horrible. CJ Gardner can guard anyone, but with Kyler Gordon, he's coming back. He's been on IR for a growing injury. Do you have to be 100% with a groin, as far as you're going, you're going to have to be 100% to come back and play?
I think at that position, you have to be pretty darn close. Because if you're not, you're going to get cooked. It's kind of hard to hide if you're 80% and you lose a step, coverage wise, you're going to be a liability. So, and offenses are going to pick on you and exploit you if they even see like an ounce of weakness there and know that you're basically playing, not to your fullest potential. So yeah, I think you got to be pretty close to 100%. Again, if the other thing is obviously, and again, it's playoffs. If you re-aggravate it, you're probably done. Like if he's not close enough to be out there and he goes out and he hurts himself worse, and then they got no shot of having him later on, assuming they're able to win their first round game. So I think you kind of have to balance that out. It seems like they're optimistic activating him for that, return, that he might be able to be out there this weekend. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but yeah, for a DB, you got to be pretty close to 100% with the groin to be effective. So
real quick, honestly, that's what happened to Jalen Johnson for the Bears. He was out. He missed some games with a groin injury, and then he hurt his groin. He came back, and then he re-injured it the first game he played against Detroit, second game of the season. He was out for a while, so makes sense. All right, my bad, G.
All right, so bringing it back around to Duke. So Daniel Jones is wearing a 3D printed pad. I think his teammates at Duke like created this pad. They made one to protect the fibula. And I guess what do you know about what they made to for him to get back on the field with essentially a broken leg?
Yeah. No, and I think we talked about this a little bit. Whenever it was 4 to 6 weeks ago, but the people that did this started actually at Duke when he was in college, and he broke his clavicle on his non-throwing shoulder. But they basically kind of do this, like developed. It was like two of his like roommates who were football players, but they're engineers. They were smarter than they were better football players, like a lot of people, or a lot of football players at Duke, although we're looking better these days. But you get a lot of smart kids that maybe don't have as much talent there on the team too. And he had a couple smart kid roommates that basically pioneered this like 3D printing company, but turned it into making basically custom splints and braces where you could perfectly contour someone's anatomy, and it's better than some just generic off the shelf kind of small, medium, large kind of brace. And so they did that for his clavicle fracture at Duke and got him back. He was back playing within 3 weeks of a clavicle fracture, which is, pretty ridiculous. And from there, they've actually come and spoken at a couple of conferences I've been, the company, and they have grown. They have quite the clientele now between especially college and pro teams of when a somewhat marquee player gets hurt, depending on if it's an ankle, an elbow, a hip, a shoulder, they'll go and consult with these guys. They'll do measurements and 3D evaluation, and again, they can make these custom fabricated splints or braces or pads that kind of do a better anatomic custom job at protecting whatever is torn or broken, to give them as much stability and support as possible. So that's kind of the premise of it.
Do you see that as like the future, as far as with these kinds of injuries, where that we can like kind of customize it to that particular person?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll probably always have a niche to maybe more that elite level, like depending on, I mean, as they get larger, I'm sure they can probably cut down on cost. But like right now, I think it was a question we actually asked at one of the conferences, if they submit it through insurance. Because like when a pro athlete, a lot of people don't know this, when a pro athlete gets hurt, it actually gets filed under workers' comp. Like the same way someone gets hurt on the job and files a work comp claim, that's how it works in the NFL or the NBA or whatever else. They file a work comp claim, and it goes through the league. And so they're trying to work on getting billing that's covered through insurance and work comp, but it's still a work in progress. So I don't think it's cheap is the short version. So appealing to the masses right now, it's tough to probably convince like some, middle school parent on their 12-year-old to pay, X amount of money for something when they can get something okay for like $50 or something from, CVS. So I think it will have wider spread utility as they probably get their margins down. It becomes a little cheaper and affordable and more accessible to the masses. I don't think it's quite there yet. Right now, I think it's still more on a, college pro, elite access kind of level.
That's very interesting. They did that. So shout out to the Dukies for coming in and being who they are. So All right, y'all. That wraps up Ask a Doc. We appreciate you, Doc, for that. Doc, we're gonna have you stay. We're gonna do something different, man. Instead of doing these picks, Doc, we're gonna have you stay and talk playoff football. This season has been great. With the playoffs, you don't have Kansas City there. Eagles are not as dominant as they were last year or even years before last, even though they still won 11 games. But I want to ask fellas, Doc, we can start with you. Do you all feel like there is a favorite in the playoffs right now?
Starting with me.
Yeah.
I think the short answer for me is no. I think there are certainly tiers where, there's probably 2 or 3 teams in each league that I would certainly put above the rest, of course. But I don't think there's a super team, or obviously, like I said, the Chiefs aren't in. And so you can't even say like if, Mahomes is going to do his thing because he's not even there. I don't think a team for the while I was on the Rams, but they've kind of sputtered towards the end of the season. Some of the teams in the AFC, like the Broncos and the Patriots, while they've had great records, you got somewhat young, unproven quarterbacks, certainly in their second year. And it's just hard to say that they're going to be like playoff ready and be able to march through things. If anything, I probably lean towards someone like Buffalo and Josh Allen and kind of finding their groove, who are more accustomed to this part of the season. But I still think it's kind of wide open, which is fun to watch as a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's no overwhelming favorite. With the NFC, like Seattle has the number 1 seed. And so you're asking me to believe in Sam Darnold. You're asking a lot. And then with Denver, you're asking me to believe in Bo Nix. You're asking even more. And so it is wide open. And I think this is what I think the fans like it. And I think this is what the league wants. They wanted, some form of parity where like we don't know. And the teams from last year that we might have expected to be there, like the Bills, we thought this was going to be their year to where, if Kansas City's falling off, then the Bills would ascend, and then the Patriots jumped over them in the division. Yeah. And then we saw how competitive the NFC West was. Like the 49ers won, 12, 13 games? And they're going on the road in a wild card situation. So, so are the Rams, and they won 12 games. So it's there's no overwhelming favorite. It really could go either way. The conspiracy part of me thinks like this is what gambling houses dream of.
Right.
Yeah, it really could. Like, there's a case for every team in the playoffs to make a run to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, there no favorites yet.
So who is the team you put the most trust in? Because I'm gonna be real. Like, yeah, I'm rooting for the Bears. I'm rooting for the Bears to win and all that. But the team I probably put the most trust in, honestly, believe it or not, there's 2 teams, and it's funny because they're playing each other on Sunday. Are the 49ers and the Eagles. Those are the 2 teams that I trust the most. Just the fact that Philadelphia is, yes, they're the former NFL, or they're the NFL champs, reigning NFL champs, but they're still the most battle-tested team in the playoffs right now. Even as bad as we talked about, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. They won 11 games with their backup. The third backup, I don't know who he was, the third string or the practice squad guy who came in on Sunday and played. But other than that, they're the most, they had a horrible, we say they had a bad this and they're not going to be good. And they still won 11 games. They're battle tested. The 49ers, when they make the playoffs, they usually don't lose until they get to the NFC Championship or it's a Super Bowl. So those are the teams I trust the most. I want to know what you guys think as far as trusting teams. Like, G, who do you trust the most out of this? These playoff teams. Out of these playoff teams, like, was one team you had to trust?
I would say, honestly, I would say the Rams. I believe they have the a little bit of the easier matchup going against the Panthers. And I'd say the Panthers kind of backed their way in, but they overachieved this season anyway.
Right.
But I think the Rams have the most balanced team in the playoffs. They have a quarterback who has done this before, and and I think they have the roster to make a deep run. They may not have won their division, but they have it starts with the matchup that they have. So that's why, like, okay, I think they can get past the Panthers, and then they can match up well with anybody else in that next round. So that's what I would say.
Doc, is it somebody you trust? Is it a team you trust?
Yeah, not. It would have been the Rams until late, and then I was kind of on the Niners, and then they kind of obviously folded against Seattle and just looked awful. And I can't trust Seattle with Sam Darnold. So flipping back to AFC, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't trust the Broncos. Drake May's great, but I still don't fully buy the Patriots. I don't buy Jacksonville, as good as their defense is. So then you're dropping me down. It leaves me still going with Buffalo and thinking that they're going to find their way. I mean, on the road to Jacksonville and then probably playing New England. It's still going to be a tough road, but I'd probably take Buffalo still over anyone because I think they're almost similar to what G was saying with the Rams and Stafford. I mean, they at least have someone who has made it deep in the show and knows the moment, whereas pretty much all those other teams do not. So that's why I'd maybe say the Bills. But
and that's why I chose, and I can understand with the Rams and the Bills. That's why I chose Eagles and 49ers, because you talk about two quarterbacks that has been to the NFC Championship. Who's every time Purdy's played in the playoffs, they either went to the NFC Championship, and one year they went to the Super Bowl. He got hurt the first his rookie year in the NFC Championship, which to me is the reason why Eagles got to the Super Bowl. But then when you look at it, Jalen Hurts, when it comes to the playoffs, like, he don't really make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't make mistakes in a postseason. And I think that's why I trust them, Then they still have the talent. But I think, and I want you all's opinions too. As a matter of fact, I'll ask you all first. I'll go back to you, Doc. The most dangerous team in the playoffs. Team that, when I say dangerous, as far as a team you're not looking at to win, but if they get hot, they can be scary.
Well, first, I'm not going to call you out, but and they play each other, so you have to put your two best against each other. But you, Mr. Controversy, you're choosing San Francisco to beat Philly in the first round, so that means you can't have too much confidence in Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that's my pick. I was hoping y'all would pick the Eagles, but y'all didn't. So I might have to change my pick now.
There you go. Man, dangerous. I don't know. I'd say maybe the Patriots. I think they got enough balance on both sides and good coaching. And they're probably underlooked, including by myself. But the way they've managed the season, the way Drake May has played in his second year and is, I guess, as high up as probably anyone in the MVP conversation, I think even though they haven't, the Patriots as a franchise, of course, been there plenty with Tom Brady, but this new iteration of the Patriots have not. But I don't know. I'd be afraid of Drake May based on what I've seen, at least this season. So,
G, what you think?
I guess I'm kind of looking at it as like someone who they could make a deep run or just completely flame out in the first round. So I'm looking at the Texans. I've seen that defense flying around. It's kind of like I was saying with the Miami Hurricanes just need 17 points. Like the Texans might need just that, from CJ Stroud and the offense. But they're going to Pittsburgh. So depending on what the weather's going to be like, it could be they beat up Aaron Rodgers or CJ Stroud gets beat up. It really could go either way. But if they're able to get past that, then I think it's a toss up for them going forward if they get past that first game.
Yeah, that defense is nasty, G, and I just can't see Pittsburgh beating them. They don't have enough offense for that defense, and they like you said, they fly around. They're legit. They're like legit. Denver's defense is legit also, but that Houston's defense is man. So I like that pick. I'm gonna go with my team. I'm gonna go with the Bears. Only reason I think they can do that is because Bears just have this no die attitude that we can beat anybody. We're never down, and a young team like that, if they get hot, if they mess around and beat the Packers, they got another home game. Who would come? I think if the Eagles will come to town. The winner of the Eagles 49ers play them, I believe.
Yeah, the Eagles are 3 seed, so yeah.
It's whoever they get to whoever the least. Yeah, because it's not like basketball. It's just whoever has the least seed or the lowest seed will play Seattle, and the Bears will get them. But I just feel like whoever they play, if they get hot, because the only thing they're lacking is the defense. And I believe when they get Kyler Gordon back, if they do, they'll be back. But the fact that they can run the game, they can run the ball, and now they're going to get Rome Odunze back. And you know what Caleb does? Caleb doesn't turn the ball over. So if you look at the NFL, you look at the team right now, the teams that you say might be in trouble, you look at a team like San Francisco. Like I picked San Francisco, but if Purdy turns the ball over, it's a wrap. If Donald turns the ball over, it's a wrap. Bo Nix, you got a lot of quarterbacks that if they turn the ball over, Trevor Lawrence, it's a wrap. Bears don't turn the ball over, So and then turnovers win games. So this team gets hot, and they believe, and they got a coach to make them believe. Man, they could be that young team that just surprised them. They could be the Washington Commanders of this year. You know how the Commanders were, and they surprised everyone. That's what the Bears can be right now. So I say it's the Bears. I say that's the team you don't want to get hot. But gee, that Houston pick, man, it's just that road is scary right now. Like you said, I believe they can beat Denver. Now Denver's defense is tough too, but Houston's defense, if they have to play Denver, I believe they can beat Denver. So I agree with you, man. I agree with you. So Doc, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for staying late with us. Yeah. And you have a great week, and we'll talk and see. I didn't do the picks. We'll show the picks next week or whatever. I went 4-0, thank God. For the first time ever, I went past 2-2. I went 2-2 the whole season, G, except for when I went 0-4. But every week it was 2-2. So thank God I was able to do that. But Doc won the regular season if we're counting regular season, but we're counting the playoffs as well. So. But appreciate you, Doc, and you have a great week, sir.
Thanks, fellas. G, good seeing you, my friend.
Good seeing you.
Happy New Year. Real quick, Mr. Controversy, I'm sure you already talked about it. What are your thoughts on your boy Trae Young coming to my Wizards?
I didn't even know those were Wizards, but hey,
you know I'm a Washington guy.
Yeah, but I never said that about Wizards, so I just didn't know. No, some things you just don't read through for it, like, But okay, I thought you. But you know what? You tell me, because I don't. We're sitting here thinking, why choose Washington. Like I know
I
you
don't know.
it's hard, but maybe because they have a first round pick coming, but
Yeah, it kind of surprised me too. I mean, the Wizards have been in a 10-year rebuild, but I think they finally have a really good young core with a bunch of good second and third year players on the team, and Trae Johnson as a rookie. They need a good veteran. I don't know. I honestly don't think I've watched Trae Young enough to know, is he going to be the guy that's really going to be able to come in and play team ball and be a mentor and help those guys grow up and mature, or is he just going to kind of be more of a gunner and kind of stick more to his offensive game? I don't know. But
you know what? The difference is in Atlanta, they gave him the keys to Atlanta. He had everything, so he didn't have to mature. Whereas I don't believe Washington would do that. Would do that. Then I believe because of this, it might help him mature faster. I'm gonna tell you one thing real quick. I'll say this: Trae Young used to be in G. Remember when he was young? When they would lose, Trae Young he wouldn't talk. He would have an attitude. Post game,
he took it hard. He was upset.
He was just since he had his second child, he's changed completely. Last year they had lost, and they lost badly too. Like a team they were supposed to beat, and he just finished doing a press conference. I was in the visitors press conference, and we're walking past each other, and he was like, "Hey man," I'm like, "All right, Trae. All right, man. Hey man, that's a nice suit, man. All right, I like that." That's what Trae said. I was like, "You talking to me?" Like I couldn't believe he said that after a loss. But then last week they lost. They lost badly, got blown out, and he was coming out, and it was a guy. It was somebody like a little kid in a wheelchair asked for his autograph. He did that, and then in Atlanta, in that hallway, they got it. They got this little area for the fans. You could see, the where they eat at, and there was a little boy like 2 years old, just mind his own business. Trae walked past and stopped and tapped the window, gave him dap and all that, and I'm like, Trae, so. It might be a different Trae, so he can go there, and you don't know. I just don't know why he chose Washington, but I think maybe that's the only place he could go to that would take him.
Yeah, we have cap space, and depending on what Atlanta wants back, like we have a plethora of young players that we could offer up too. But we'll see. Be interested to see how it shakes out. So
yeah, very interesting. But all right, guys, appreciate it, man. Thanks, sir.
Good luck to your Bears.
Thank you, and thank you for the win. Thank you for beating Eagles too. We appreciate it.
You're welcome for that too, Steve. So
he texted me right after too. You're welcome.
that was on Philly for playing their backup. So I
don't know what was going on with that. That's the most confidence they got. That's ultimate confidence right there that you can win no matter where you play. So yeah. All right, Doc. Appreciate it. All right, G, real quick before we go, just want to ask you one question. We always do this. We ask questions. Just to answer this, you right, they can, but shoot, Rams haven't been doing it lately. I mean, they've been losing. It's still that Puka Nacua almost catch was ridiculous. G, did you see that?
That was like
that was ridiculous.
Like if he had probably another
DB?
I'd say another foot. That's a catch. If he had another foot, that would catch on the
ball. Yeah, when the ball came down, right. But that catch was ridiculous. I mean, we were in the press box. Everybody had their head on their head, like, yo, he caught that. That was crazy. That Puka is a beast. That was crazy. I know. Juan was going crazy. Cuz was going crazy. But here's the question of the night. What is the best rule change that has happened in the last 20 years in sports that benefited that particular sport?
Oh, now in talking about benefiting the sport, not any particular player or team, this is benefiting the sport.
The rule, the rule change that benefited the sport that you think was the best rule change is like, all right.
I think it's I think it's with the teams making the
Let's
well
go.
the
Wait,
but
hey, hold on.
the
G,
what's
I'm gonna go 30 years. 30 years. Go back 30 years back. 30 years back.
okay. Well, then I got two. Real quick. The first one, real quick, is when the leagues expanded the playoffs as far as like the NFL. Okay, now 7 teams per conference with baseball going expanding their playoffs. So
I agree.
now as it creates this drama, this parity, because I think all the leagues want the parity. It's not the same every time, even though the Dodgers have gone back to back. It wasn't particularly easy for them. They didn't walk there to all the way to the championship. There was some playing with there, but they clearly had the best teams. And then with the NBA, the play-in, I was against it, but I'm okay with the play-in tournament now because it does get people interested at the beginning of the playoffs.
Right.
The other thing is how in the NBA how players handle the ball. Like as far as like with when Allen Iverson came into the league and the way he handled the ball, he was getting called for carry sometimes, and then it was inconsistent. But when it was determined what a live dribble is, that changed guard play basically forever.
Yeah, it did.
Where what
mud.
guys can do with the ball, what kind of angles they can take, and it changed how the game looked from a certain aesthetic. So kind of defining that, I think it started with Iverson, or it became clear over a couple of years, but it kind of started with him because of how he played, and now there's so many players who use where the handles is really an important part of the game. So I think just how players move, like it's a tiny thing, but it has affected guard play in the NBA for the last 30 years.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna go a little bit past 30 years. I'm gonna go 32 years. Adding a 2-point conversion in the NFL. I remember they first did it. It was like, oh, that sucks. Like, why would you do that? That don't make sense. And so I don't know about you, G. I don't know if you know this, but I go back and watch. So I'm in 1997. I'm season in 1997 season. I started in 93. So I go back and watch the whole season. Now I won't watch every game of the season, but I'll watch the 1 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, Sunday night game if it's good, and then a Monday night game if it's for pretty much. I do that, and I go to playoffs and all that. I watch them all. I don't watch. It take me like this Jets and Patriots game in '97. I don't watch this game for like 8 nights so far. Falling asleep. Anyway, I remember. Anyway, I say all that to say, in '94, watching that season, the way the teams was going for the 2-point conversion, it wasn't making any sense. Like they didn't know when to go for it, or they had to use a sheet. You know what I'm saying? And all that. You know how the college teams used to do.
That sheet evolved. It has evolved.
It's right. Yeah. That shit is horrible. Like, why would it? But that's what they were doing. Like they'll be down by 9 and they'll go for 2. Like, for what? What did they do? Like, so, but either or, but still now I think that was one of the best things the NFL could have done, is go for 2. Another one, the 5-yard chuck rule, that all came about because of right. But you know what? I never understood that because
not only the Rams, that was for the Colts as well, because the Patriots were beating up Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harris.
What's the difference between, because they still had the 5-yard chuck rule, but then they had it still, you can't put your hands on him for 5 yards, because it wasn't like you could beat him up the whole time. So I don't understand what I got to read back on what was the difference when they made the 5-yard chuck rule versus what it was beforehand. Like, was it just called close?
It could like it kind of pushed the boundaries, because if you hit that guy within the 5 yards to throw him off the route, like you could hit him as hard as possible, and even if you didn't really get a good hit on them, now you're on them, like they're covered. Now you have a better chance of covering them, and then that's the case within. But it was also the case if they ran a route across the middle within those 5 yards. Mm-hmm. Now linebackers are knocking the crap out of them. Linebackers and safeties are knocking the crap out of guys coming across the middle like that because it was in 5 yards. So now that is that change. Now, like, you may have heard about, like, Michael Irvin was, he wasn't afraid to go across the middle because no one wanted to go across the middle. But now those drag routes are such an essential part of NFL offense.
Yeah. Because I think they just called it closer because they were doing that before. Like I said, I'm watching the season. They still had a rule like it would be pass interference or 5-yard holding or whatever, illegal contact. But I guess they just weren't calling it as close, like you said, with the line.
Yards across the whole field.
Yeah.
It was 5 yards across the field, but now it's just 5 yards within, like,
in 5 yards.
Yeah, just within 5 yards right there. Not the whole way across. Yeah.
I think another rule change within the last 30 years, and it was a rule, was the interleague play. I think that changed baseball. I think, and I didn't like it. I just started really liking it. I didn't like it for a while because I missed the. First of all, going back, I can't believe, man, it make you feel old. It was no interleague play at all. Like, National League never played in the American League until All-Star Game, then the World Series. But because I know you remember this, G, I know you remember this too. When they first started interleague play, that was like, to see the Cubs play the Yankees, it was like, what? Like, you never heard of anything. Like, it was just like, oh, I gotta watch this. It was like must-see TV. Remember, they would do it at certain times of the season. Thinking they did like
it wasn't really like it was only like maybe a couple of times a year.
Yeah, twice a year. Yeah.
I think the thing that it's so muddled now, it's a little muddled with interleague play where it's not as exciting. It's because of the both leagues having the DH. I like one league having the DH and the other one the pitcher has to hit, because you got to have, the manager's got to have some strategy. How do you manage your lineup? If you're trying to win, especially like we see it would be seen like heightened in the World Series, where that NL team, okay, they can probably, what do they have? Is there more of an advantage for them when they play in the AL park? Because, okay, we have the DH, so we don't have to worry so much about we can just change our pitchers whenever we need to. We don't have to worry about worrying about the batting order.
Right.
And then the reverse, can the AL team handle that when they play in the NL park? But now it doesn't matter because they both have the DH. But I think both having the DH kind of takes a lot of the strategy with your batting order out of the manager's hands. They don't really have to do. You could just play the matchup with the pitcher.
And then the fact that when you have the interleague play, like, I still think it's the best. They're playing each other, but it was the fact that you had different styles. Like, I wondered if this was probably how it was in the old AFL and the NFL. NFL was rugged. We run the ball a lot, tough, grinding games. Where the AFL was, they would pass the ball. They would throw the ball. It was like air it out. So, and you saw it happen when the Jets won that Super Bowl. It was different, Whereas when you go back to the NL, remember, AL was the DH, big hitters. All they did was hit power for power and all of that. Where NL, we're gonna sing you to death. We're gonna get a man. Remember, in the World Series, you see the National League, they get a man on first, he might steal second. You bunt him to get on third. AL wasn't doing that back then. That was all NL baseball. That was National League.
Yeah, that I mean, look at it. Even going back a little bit further with those Cardinals teams in the 80s.
Yeah, yep.
A lot of home runs. It was speed.
It was speed. That's all they did.
Vince Coleman, like, get on base. We're gonna steal bases. We're trying to move guys over. We're manufacturing runs using our speed to score runs, and that's why they were so dominant.
Yeah,
they went to the World Series like 3 or 4 times in the decade. So, and that was the thing. Like, you heard styles make fights. So
right.
Teams playing different ways. I think with having the NL and AL, one having the DH, one not, you see teams play different ways to win games.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like every team plays the same way. There's the magic number with with pitchers or with lineups. Okay, they got a left-handed pitcher. We're putting in a right-handed batter.
Right.
It's been simplified, but it's stylistically everyone's the same.
Yeah, and I miss that. I mean, I remember in the American League when they were laughing, and then we can end it. But I remember in the American League when they were laughing in '94, I believe, when Randy Johnson was pitching, and everybody was just cracking up, laughing, just like the American League was, because NL could never seen anything like that. They couldn't hit him.
Like the John Kruk.
Yeah.
Just that with John Kruk is like, what are we supposed to do with this?
And then too, that's what made the All-Star so great, because you never got to see National League play against American League. When
got breaking news. The Atlanta Hawks are trading Trae Young to the Wizards.
I just saw it. Wow. All right, man. Well, we got to end it because I got to put this up. Wow. I hope he probably not up. Jesus, that's correct. And I wish I was in Atlanta right now, because at the game, that's what there's gonna be the questions. Wow. Yep, that's it. Well, all right, man. Well, it is time to let you all go. I can't believe that, G. They did it. For who they trading for?
It just says CJ McCollum. There'll probably be more details later.
Wow. I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't say that. But G, I know you haven't heard this in a long time. But all right, y'all. Y'all know when y'all hear this music, you already know what it means. It is time to let you go. But before we let you go, we have a couple shout outs, and stay tuned because you might be one of them. First off, I'm going to give a shout out to the Almighty God. Give me this platform to do what I do, say what I say, make you all mad, want to give me the stop it button. God, I appreciate you. Got a shout out to my guy Jim for coming on, man. Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to say?
Thank you for having me. Good to be here. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I don't know when I'll be back.
Also, shout out to my guy Mace. Mace over there covering the game. So appreciate you, Mace. Also, shout out to Dr. Fowles for coming on. Appreciate you, Doc, for coming on there like you do, man. Always. Shout out to everyone who was in the chat room, Vince in the fantasy room. Greg, Juan, who else is it? Al, Kenny was in there, Jacob, everybody else who I apologize, but We appreciate y'all. Also, tell some of my lovely children, my nieces, nephews, aunties, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, grandparents, play cousins. Hey, let family know that you love them while they still feel it, love them while they still alive. As Mason always say, it don't cost nothing, cost anything to be a good person. Also, man, you got basketball, NFL playoffs, college basketball, college football playoffs, hockey. Hey, make sure you drink responsibly, eat good. I'm fasting, so I won't be able to eat that good, but I'm fasting. That's what it is. But anyway, until next week, same time, same show, same crazy host, same sports nonsense. When you miss me, I'm out. Peace. Please stay right here, okay? I got something to talk to you about. We out.
What's up, family? I'm Real Mike Rob. Make sure you tuning in to the 3-Point Conversion Radio. They got all of it, and they keep it funky. Let's get it.